CalTeach 2023 graduates. When I got an email from Jarrell Lowe asking if I would speak at your event here, I had to double take the message for a second. I am no top-notch education researcher. I'm no headstrong grassroots political organizer fighting for the equity within our schools. I'm also no professor of education teaching the latest pedagogical trends in secondary education. I'm a high school math teacher. To be fair, I have been teaching for 12 years. I'm a Mathematics Cal alumni. This is getting more reactions than I thought. And I've had CalTeach interns and student teachers for almost half of that. But still, I was a little shocked. But more so the type of shock you get if you open your Venmo account, you're like, oh, I have actually more money than I thought. See, we public school teachers are not often bestowed with such honor outside of our school sites in our industry. So I was thrilled and I accepted. But then I thought, what could I possibly say that could inspire you all? What words would leave a great impression and get you all excited to embark on your teacher journey? After much thinking, I decided that this opportunity would be better suited to tell you the truth about being a teacher. When I graduated with my credential and master's, that truly was the moment I realized this was for real. And I became an adult. I had to now start worrying things about paying for bills, medical and dental insurance, what's a 403B? Attending a 504 or IEP meeting, staff meetings, professional development, supervised events like sports or dances. Oh, and don't forget the whole lesson plan and grading thing. I'm definitely not here to overwhelm you. I'm here to just tell you the truth. And that very cold hard truth is, in case you still didn't know, teaching is hard. You'd be surprised on how many new teachers are shocked when they realize the physical and mental and emotional demands that come with this profession. The unique thing is, there are 30 people watching you do it. And 50 to 90 minutes later, another set of 30 people are gonna watch you do exactly the same thing. And you'll have to do that 4 to 5 more times that same day. And what's worse, those people are teenagers. There's one thing I tell every new teacher. To overcome this difficulty is that you have 2 goals. 1, survive your first year. Number 2, survive your first 5 years. That being said, I'd like to present to you my top 3 survival skills. Survival tip number 1, collaborate. Collaboration is a fancy word for work and develop good relationships with your fellow teachers, especially those in your department. Here you could share other lesson plans and ideas, gain more knowledge from people with more experience, and probably the most important thing is being able to vent with other teachers about what's going on in your classroom. Why with other teachers? Because really, for as much as we love the people in our lives, our partners, our siblings, our friends, or parents, they just won't get it like other teachers would. In my years, only other teachers have been able to really empathize, sympathize, and understand exactly what I'm going through. The reality is you're always going to be outnumbered in the classroom, so your best bet is to work together as much as possible. Bonus tip, the most important person at every school site is your corresponding front office secretary. They know the ins and outs of the entire school and will always offer unique advice specific to your site. Anyone in our business would tell you that the person that really runs the entire school and that usually has been there the longest is that front office secretary. They should be your most trusted ally. Survival tip number 2, learn to let go. One of the most difficult realizations in our profession is that you can do everything right or follow everything that you've been taught up to this point, but there are so many things that are out of your control, and at the end of the day, there are things you just have to let go. For example, there are going to be moments where you have 98% of the day go really well, but that 2%, that one student that made that one comment, and you just lose sleep over that one single moment. Or another example is you could spend hours and hours designing the most equitable and engaging activity that would serve every member of your community. But then that one little thing that actually just throws the whole thing off, and you feel like you failed your students. My response is learn to let go and move on. The awesome thing about our job is that there's always tomorrow, and the next day, and the next week, and the next semester, and then the next year, and then 12 years later. This is not to say that you should give up on certain things, that you should always try to do everything possible for your students. However, you'll need to learn to accept that for as much as we want the best outcomes for them, things just won't always go the way we planned it. I want this tip to resonate with you the next time you're trying to get over very difficult situations. Your ability to let go and move on can be the one deciding factor of how the rest of your career will go. But there's an even more important deciding factor. Which brings me to my final tip. As the cliche goes, it's all about the students. That's not my final tip. My final survival tip is you are the most important person in the classroom. That sounds quite groundbreaking and maybe a little disconcerting. Let's take a look at everything you've probably learned so far. How to create an environment that is safe, or how to make your education accessible to all your children of all walks of life. These are all amazing things that your students should be excited to experience for you. But get this, your ability to help and care and provide exceptional education to your children cannot happen if you don't first take care of, you guessed it, you. I could only do this job because I've been able to talk and share and work with others that understand me. I could only do this job by having learned to not hold on to everything, but learning to instead let go. Finally, I can only do this job if I prioritize myself, physically, mentally, and especially emotionally. I encourage you all to at least take 1 or 2 or 3 of my survival tips to your first day of your teaching, or your first week, or your first year, and I pray your first 5 years of teaching. From one teacher to another, once you figure it all out, it's going to make it all worth it. I hope I've given you enough truth so that you know exactly what you're getting into. No other profession is in the dire need of the best and most exceptional people. And it is my hope that my speaking to you today will help you stick to it for as long as possible. We do what we do, not for the reverence, definitely not for the money, and definitely not for the cultural recognition, especially math teachers. We do it for our students. So y'all should feel proud in spite of all that. You are still going to teach. But please, if there's one thing to take away from this high school math teacher, make sure you're doing things for yourself first. Congratulations to you all, class of 23. Go Bears.